Today we're diving into a timely topic, how to keep the peace and stay sane when navigating conversations during and after the election. We're going to cover essential strategies for staying calm and keeping the peace in divisive times. First, we'll talk about why it's important to prioritize harmony even when we disagree. Then, I'll share practical tips for staying centered and keeping your mental health intact. We'll dive into de-escalation strategies that can keep conversations respectful. And if things do get tense, we'll cover how to repair any relationship damage. Finally, I'll leave you with some quick tips for maintaining your mental health through it all. Why should we even care about keeping the peace? Let's face it, the U.S. political landscape is more polarized than ever, with no sign it's going to change anytime soon. Emotions are running high, and it's easy to get caught up in arguments that might damage relationships we truly care about. So point number 1, relationships over rhetoric. Remember that our personal connections are often, but not always, like when someone opposes your basic right to live safely and freely. But generally, our connections are more important than political differences. Studies show that sustained conflicts can lead to long-term resentment and even fracture close bonds, especially when people feel disrespected or unheard. Now, point number 2, your own mental health. Constantly arguing or even worrying about potential disagreements can impact our mental health. When we prioritize peace, we're not only protecting our relationships, but also setting boundaries for our own well-being. Let's talk tips. Here are some ways to stay calm and protect your peace of mind in these situations. Tip number 1, set boundaries. If you know certain people always bring up politics, it's okay to set boundaries. You can say, hey, let's focus on other topics today. Or if that's tricky, steer the conversations towards neutral ground. Boundaries aren't about shutting people down. They're about protecting your own space. Tip number 2, limit news and social media exposure. Try not to be bombarded by political news constantly. Studies have shown that overexposure to political news, especially on social media, can cause heightened anxiety and feelings of frustration. Instead, give yourself time limits or dedicate news-free hours during the day. Tip number 3, practice self-care techniques. Self-care isn't just about the bubble baths. Meditation, exercise, gratitude practice, enough sleep, and even deep breathing can help you stay grounded. Remember, it's not about avoiding reality, but recharging so you can handle difficult interactions without burning out. Now, what if you find yourself in a tense conversation? Here are some strategies to help de-escalate things. Strategy number 1, listen actively. Often people just want to feel heard. So instead of preparing a rebuttal in your head, try just listening fully. Nod, maintain eye contact, and say things like, I understand your point, even if you don't agree with them. Active listening shows respect and can prevent conversations from spiraling. Strategy number 2, use I statements. When sharing your own view, use I statements. For example, I feel strongly about this because, rather than you're wrong because. This approach is less confrontational and keeps the focus on your perspective rather than attacking theirs. Strategy number 3, agree to disagree. Sometimes the best approach is to simply agree to disagree. Now, I have a few people in my own life that I love dearly, and we have simply agreed politics are off limits for discussion. We know we're not likely to change the other's viewpoint, and we value our relationship outside of political views and beliefs enough to just not go there. Now, that's not possible with everyone, though. If you sense things are getting heated, calmly say, we may have different perspectives on this, and that's okay. Then transition to a different topic. It's not about winning the conversation, but maintaining respect for someone that you value. Now, strategy 4, know when to walk away. Now, if things start to get out of hand, give yourself permission to walk away. Politely excuse yourself or suggest a break. Taking a pause allows both parties to cool off and prevents people from saying things they might regret. So what if things did get out of hand? Maybe you or someone else said something hurtful. Here's how to repair a damaged relationship. Step 1, acknowledge what happened. Reach out and acknowledge the disagreement. You don't have to apologize for your views, but acknowledging the tension can open the door to healing. Step 2, express care beyond politics. Remind them that your relationship is more than political views. Try saying, I value our relationship, and I don't want this to come between us. That reminder can be powerful. Step number 3, plan a non-political activity together. Take a break from political conversations and do something fun together that you both enjoy. Shared positive experiences can help rebuild the connection without revisiting the argument. Now remember, it's totally okay to take care of yourself first. If certain people or situations are consistently negative, it's okay to limit your exposure to them, especially if it's impacting your mental health. So tip number 1, find supportive communities. Find friends, support groups, or even online communities where you feel safe to share and vent without judgment. Tip number 2 is to focus on positive relationships. Invest in people who lift you up, whether it's friends, family members, or coworkers who make you feel valued. Strengthening positive relationships will help balance any tension in other areas. Tip number 3, remember the bigger picture. Politics are important, but they're just one part of life. Staying focused on the bigger picture, your goals, your health, and your happiness will keep you grounded. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends or on your social media. I hope these tips help you navigate this tricky time with more peace and confidence. Subscribe for more content like this, tips on creating a happy, healthy life, and more. Let's keep the peace and support each other. After all, we're all in this together. Thanks so much for watching.